Hello. Hi. This is little Zoe. Little Zoe wants to be part of the video today. So something really disappointing happened earlier today, and I had a little teary moment. And so I was trying to get into this Christmas market for my candles. I was really excited about the idea of taking my candles and setting up a booth and having them available for people to buy and see in person and smell in person. And I had started requesting back in March, trying to get an application, and of course that was super early, and I was going back and forth with the person that sets up the event. And long story short, over going back and forth over the months, trying to communicate in person, leaving messages over the phone, sending email messages, and getting mixed messages, all the while finding out today that the market is full. But I've been extremely frustrated with the event planner because it's like I have reached out several times over the last several months trying to get an application, trying to go through the process. And it's been so extremely difficult to work with this person just because it's like the wires get crossed and whatever. Anyway, so when I got the email that said, oh, I sent you the application back in June and the market is full, and I'm thinking, lady, I got the application wouldn't even open. Then I came and talked to you in person at the booth, and you said that, well, that's not possible they sent you an application because we haven't even confirmed our dates yet. And then to follow up, it's been ridiculous. And so I'm taking this as, for one, an old pattern of mine is to push to make things happen. And I was feeling that pushing energy about this event because the way that things were just not lining up, and I felt like I was just kept coming up against this resistance. I was like, what? This is so absurd. It really should be as easy as send an application, pick up an application, fill it out, and be done with it. You would think. And so each step of this process, every time when I would come up against this resistance, I just took note. And my frustration has been building over the months because I'm like, how is this so complicated? So I acknowledge that I have had resistance around or fear around showing up, and I've never had a official Christmas market that I've been to or I've shared my candles. We do a holiday open house at our home and set up, it's like a pop-up shop. But I know that I have had that resistance or fear around showing my candles. And so I recognize that perhaps that's energetically been some of the resistance. But now that I'm at this place where I'm like, I feel like I've cleared a lot of that energy, I'm just so frustrated and I'm really disappointed. I had a few moments of tears, and this reminds me of something that happened a few months ago. I was part of this YouTube challenge where it was about posting every day actually no, it was just posting a video and going through the process of creating a video. And so at the end, someone was going to win a $100 gift card. And so I participated and I did all the things and we had to turn in our homework, and I showed up and I supported all the other people that were doing the challenge, and I was really excited about my video. And then when it came time for the drawing, it was a random drawing at the end, I was watching live and I noticed that my name was not on for the drawing. And I was like, wait, my name's not on there, and I did all of the things. And anyway, so she ended up redoing the drawing. It was for a $100 gift card. And it was kind of crazy because I watched that and I won. I was like, oh my God. And I never received the $100 gift card, which is a whole nother interesting thing. But I see this pattern of, in a way, being invisible or not even being able to participate in the receiving, the winning, or the benefit at the end. And since I've been doing the messenger challenge, I've definitely been being more visible, more authentic, and sharing and showing up and pushing through or growing through my edges. But these little things that come up, actually, they're not really that little, because winning a $100 gift card is kind of a big deal. Being in a market, that's kind of a big deal. And so, gosh, as I'm talking about it, I'm tapping into this deeper level of disappointment, a sadness around this pattern. And I have a tendency to make things my fault. The old voice would maybe say, oh, well, it was my fault that my name was not, actually, no, I didn't believe that that was my fault. But never receiving the $100 gift card, I'm like, why? Mind you, I attempted to reach out to this person a few times, and I'm like, is it really my job to be chasing this person down? Or like the thing with the market, I went to the farmer's market twice to speak to this woman. I reached out a couple times by phone, reached out by email, and I'm like, what's the resistance? What's the block? So I'm just like being with this energy, because I internalize it. This is probably the old make myself wrong pattern. But why am I wrong for people not following through? Why do I take on that energy, that weight? I think there's probably some anger there, because the candle like totally flickers. They're underneath the disappointment. So there's disappointment, and then there's sadness, and then there is like, I think I'm really like, you hear that? I feel it in my jaw. If you have tightness in your jaw, that is like control. You trying to control and hold things back. So yeah, I mean, I am annoyed at these people. I feel my heart is like, there's this tightness around my heart and tightness in my jaw. And then as I just acknowledge that, I feel those feelings wanting to come out. Not only have in the past has my pattern to make myself wrong, I've also had the pattern of making other people wrong. And that fiery side comes out, and I just want to burn them to the ground, like energetically. That was like the old me. But it's not helpful to just get super upset and angry at somebody and just yell at them or put them down or make them wrong. But in these situations where I feel out of control, or I feel like, it's like you can't control another person. So I think this is a bigger issue. These are two examples, but it's the same thing with relationships. You can't control someone else. And so I'm sitting with this energy around, well, I don't want to just be like a victim. I don't generally take that on. But then there's also a part of me that feels like, well, what am I supposed to do? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't force someone else to do something. You can make requests, but if they have their own stuff, they have their own resistance or whatever is going on, I guess I never really understood what to do with that energy. I think in the past, I have just taken all that energy on and I've stuffed it in my body. And really, that just ends up punishing my body. And that is just a layer of energy of, well, they decided not to do that. So I must be the one that's wrong. But that's not true. This part of myself has taken on that stuff from other people for a long time. People want you to take responsibility for their stuff because it's easier. Why can't we, and I'm sure I do it too, why can't we just take responsibility for when we don't want to show up or follow through or take responsibility or whatever? If we made a mistake or we can't follow through on our commitments, how come we can't own up to that? And why am I taking on that responsibility of other people's energy? And why am I making myself wrong in that process? So I wonder, this is my journey, my truth, and I'm wondering if you're watching, is there something, does this resonate for you? Do you understand this energy dynamic? Like how do you transmute, how do you alchemize? Let's get more practical. How do you just deal or cope, or what do you do with that energy when it's also like ghosting, right? When you're talking with someone and then they just vanish and then they kind of leave you holding the bag. Leave you holding the bag of energy. I want to know what other people do with that energy. How do you transmute that? How do you not take it on? Because it's like an open loop. There's no conclusion to it. How do you get your own conclusion when you have an agreement with someone and they don't follow through, or it doesn't turn out how it started? Because honestly, I am tired of taking on this stuff. It's a lot of icky energy. And I've got enough energy of my own. I don't need to take on this other stuff. And all the while, the other person, like this person that's running the market, who knows what's going on in her life? I'm sure she's just scattered and who knows? She's got her hands full. The person that didn't follow through with the gift card. What the heck happened there? I know she was completely, utterly embarrassed, and she declared that in a message online, but then it was like she vanished. So for one, I'm declaring right now that I release that energy because that is not mine. I send back that energy to her because I don't want her energy, and she has her own experience about that situation. I send back my energy to the person that's running the market. I send my energy back to the last relationship I was in where things didn't work out. As I send that energy back, I do feel like an opening. There is a vacuum that's created anytime we release energy or send it back. So I invite in, because you always want to fill that space with love or light or energy, because otherwise it's going to be filled up with something else that we maybe don't want. So I call in divine love. But those situations, it seems like we're just not supposed to feel bad, feel frustrated, or at least maybe that's just my story. It's kind of like, well, that didn't happen. So curious. It's interesting as I just think about those situations. I find it interesting that I just don't really allow myself to have those feelings. Instead, I would go to disappointment and make it about me. And I don't want to do that anymore. Jesus, it's not always my fault. It's not always about me. But dude, really, I don't like having unfinished business. It's so annoying. It's like energetic leaks. I don't like energetic leaks. So anyway, long story to get to the point where I was coming to, which is, I guess, not doing this Christmas market is kind of God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, is pushing me to stretch myself and put myself out there online even more. Okay. I'd like to do things in person. I'm much more fun and engaging that way. But I am committed to sharing my candles, sharing my gifts. And I can be disappointed about this event. And then I can also move on and redirect that energy elsewhere. So stay tuned. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. I'm playing with some ideas. They're not quite yet ready to share. But when they're ready, I will let you know. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. Sending you love. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care. Bye.